Welcome to liveAIwire.com, where we take a calm and practical look at the developments shaping modern AI. In this episode, we explore 3 stories that illustrate how deeply these systems are entering everyday life. You can access every episode early on Patreon, and your support, even at the price of a coffee, really helps keep the podcast running. Let's get underway.
Today, we're tearing into a set of sources focused on how AI is, rapidly integrating itself into these huge, critical, global systems.
It really is. We're looking at everything from food supply and disaster response right through to the legal process.
Yeah, absolutely. And our mission today is to synthesize the promises and, the very real governance challenges for you. We want to give you a clear map of where AI is making inroads and where it's hitting these stubborn human roadblocks.
A good way to put it.
Okay, so let's start with maybe the most urgent issue, global food insecurity. The sources frame AI as a genuine lifeline here.
They do. And the optimism is really rooted in some very effective predictive modeling. We're talking about satellite-powered crop analysis, predictive yield models. It's about precision.
And this isn't just for massive industrial farms, is it? I was struck by the focus on smallholder farmers.
Precisely. That's where you see the real-world impact, especially in places like rural India and sub-Saharan Africa. There are these initiatives like Aim for Scale that are deploying AI-powered mobile apps.
So for the farmer on the ground, what does that actually mean?
It means they're getting real-time data weather, soil diagnostics, you name it. The app tells them exactly when to plant, when to irrigate, when to harvest.
So it takes a lot of the guesswork out.
It takes the gamble out of it. And the reporting shows it's leading to higher yields and, crucially, reducing financial risk for these farmers.
And it doesn't stop in the field, right? The sources also point to AI tackling the huge problem of food waste.
Absolutely. Think about the global supply chain. AI is now forecasting demand, optimizing shipping routes, even adjusting refrigeration levels automatically to prevent spoilage.
And the numbers are significant.
They are. One source mentioned that these AI tracking systems cut food spoilage during transit by over 30%.
30%. That is an enormous gain. And this all ties into the bigger picture of climate resilience too, doesn't it? Linking back to that UN goal of zero hunger.
It does. AI is now essential for monitoring deforestation, for predicting the effects of drought.
Yeah.
It gives us a kind of foresight we've never had before.
Okay, so that's the promise. But now we have to talk about the complexity, the algorithmic blind spots.
Yes, and this is the core governance challenge. There are really 2 major pitfalls here that threaten to make things less equitable, not more.
Let's start with the first one, the access problem, the so-called digital divide.
Well, the risk is that the farmers who need these tools the most vulnerable ones, are the least likely to have access. They might not have a smartphone or reliable electricity.
Which creates what one source called an AI-fueled food hierarchy.
Exactly. The tech that's meant to level the playing field ends up creating a new barrier.
And the second challenge is even more fundamental. It's about bias in the data itself.
This is probably the trickiest issue. Most of these powerful AI tools are trained on data sets from developed Western agricultural systems.
So a model that's been perfected on, say, irrigated American cornfields.
Is going to fail spectacularly when you apply it to a small rain-fed plot of Kenyan maize. The conditions, the soil, everything is different.
And you also run the risk of disempowering traditional farming knowledge, right?
A huge risk. When a big tech firm's algorithm comes in, centuries of local generational knowledge can get pushed aside. It centralizes control.
So for AI to really work, it needs to be trained on local, diverse data that respects those traditions.
Without that, the tools just concentrate market power instead of helping people.
It seems the biggest barrier isn't a lack of data, but a lack of inclusive data governance.
Precisely.
Okay, let's unpack this next set of sources, which focuses on AI's ability to serve as an early warning system against global disasters. We're moving from managing farms to predicting global calamities.
And here, AI's biggest asset is its speed and its ability to synthesize information. It can process these massive, completely different data sets in milliseconds.
What kind of data are we talking about here?
Everything. Real-time weather models, seismic sensors, satellite imagery, even social media posts to gauge what's happening on the ground.
And this is already being deployed in systems that are outperforming the old ways.
That's right. Things like Google's Flood Hub or IBM's weather models are already issuing alerts in dozens of countries, and they're doing it much faster than the legacy systems ever could.
The sources also mention that these systems are built on some pretty sophisticated ethical principles.
They are, in theory. There's this idea of FATES principles, that's fairness, accountability, transparency, ethics, and safety. It's meant to ensure the models aren't biased and that their warnings are auditable.
So if the tech is so good and the principles are sound, where's the failure point? Why aren't we preventing more catastrophes?
Because there is a huge disconnect between prediction and action. The data is one thing, getting humans to act on it effectively is another.
Can you give us an example of that?
Sure. In parts of Southeast Asia, reports show that very accurate AI flood alerts are often just ignored.
Ignored. Why?
It comes down to a lack of public trust in the system and poor community engagement. If people don't believe the siren, the data behind it is useless.
So that's a communication failure, not a technology one. What about when authorities do trust the data, but things still go wrong?
That points to an operational failure. We saw that with the flash floods in Texas. The AI systems correctly flagged the danger and sent out digital warnings.
But
the physical sirens never went off.
why not?
Because the new advanced AI system wasn't properly integrated with the old local emergency protocols. The prediction was perfect, but the last crucial step, the human-to-system link, was broken.
So you get this illusion of safety, this digital tsunami of data that doesn't actually translate into a real-world response.
And that can create a dangerous overconfidence. We see the same thing with pandemic prediction. AI can scan genomic data, travel patterns, and warn us about the next outbreak.
But the warning is only as good as our willingness to act on it.
Exactly. Without addressing those systemic human shortcomings, coordination, resources, political will, the best prediction in the world won't save us. The data can inform, but people have to act.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Shifting from the physical world of floods and farms to the highly scrutinized arena of the courtroom and the dilemma of AI witnesses.
It's a fascinating area, mainly because the legal system is built on human concepts, taking an oath, being cross-examined, and for now, the line is very clear. Witnesses have to be human, and AI cannot testify.
So what is its role then, if it can't take the stand?
It's a tool, a very powerful forensic tool for human experts.
Mm-hmm.
It can be used to generate crime scene reconstructions or analyze huge amounts of digital evidence. But it's always the human expert using the tool who testifies.
But the moment you bring generative AI into it, you run into that very immediate risk, the hallucination problem.
Precisely. And this is not a theoretical risk. It has already happened. We've seen lawyers sanctioned by courts for submitting legal briefs that cited completely fabricated cases, ones that were just made up by an AI.
Which just completely undermines the foundation of the court.
It's a huge wake-up call. If lawyers can be fooled, you can imagine the danger of presenting that kind of output to a jury.
So how are the regulators trying to get ahead of this?
They're moving to align the rules for AI-generated evidence with the same high standards we have for human expert testimony.
Meaning the AI's output would have to pass rigorous reliability tests just like a human's conclusions would.
Exactly. But the academic debate is going even deeper into constitutional law, specifically the Confrontation Clause.
The right to confront your accuser.
Yes. And you can't exactly cross-examine an algorithm, so legal scholars are asking what that right means when the key witness is a machine.
So what's the proposed solution to that?
It's all about transparency. Things like mandating the disclosure of the AI source code or demanding detailed logs of its training data so the defense can at least probe how it reached its conclusions.
It really highlights that fundamental distinction that has to be maintained, doesn't it?
It does. AI is a tool, not a witness. A witness has accountability, motives, subjectivity, and AI just processes data based on an algorithm.
And the ultimate risk is that a jury might see the machine's output as infallible, as objective truth.
And that's the danger. If AI output is given too much weight, it erodes due process. The governance has to ensure it's treated as evidence to be questioned, not as an oracle.
From feeding the planet to predicting global disasters and establishing truth in court, AI's potential is enormous, but realizing the promise demands transparency and governance structures that prioritize people over technological reliance.
Thanks for listening to LiveIWire.com. You can explore every story in full on the website, and early access is always available on Patreon for those who choose to support us. If you work in media and would like to feature any of our coverage, we're always looking to expand our distribution, and you can reach us directly through the site. The links to the 3 stories featured today are included in the episode details below, along with all relevant tags. Until next time.